Good morning, good morning. Are we live? I hate this system. It's really hard to tell whether it's actually working or not. There we go. It does look like it. Let's just pull them up on here and see what's what. Yes, we are live. Righty ho. We look like we've frozen though. No, we've frozen. Oh, for goodness sakes. Oh, poo. Poo, poo, poo. Oh no, we're back up and running. If you can see me and if I've not frozen, give me a shout in the comments and then I will get started. It looks like it's running okay, but it's very time laggy. Morning, Emily. Morning, Katie. Don't you hate technology? Multiple computers, multiple webcams, can't actually see what you can see. Don't know whether it's working. It's all incredibly laggy. I can see that there's 10 of you watching, which is wonderful. And here we go, messages are coming through. Lovely. Annika, hi, nice to see you. Susan, morning from sunny Dorset. Ali, hello. El Hayes, hello. Rachel, we can from Devon, lovely. Shivster, morning, I'm here. Be a bit behind as I'm making some bias binding. Underestimated how much I had left in my stash. Ah, Siobhan, I'm cheating. Ready made here. Emily says, not frozen for me. Susan says, hello, Claire. Winifred, good morning. Annika, morning from Sweden. Lovely. Okie dokie. So, it's quite hard for me because I'm watching you on a computer live, but I'm also trying to watch my streaming software to see whether it's actually working, and it's really hard to actually see what you can see. So I'm going to pop up a little box in the corner here so I can see. That's it, I can see what you can see. Right, so here we go. I have got my old manky ironing board. I'm going to lift it up a little bit so you can see. Look at that. Ugh, that's so grimy. This is the studio ironing board. It is disgusting. It's had loads and loads of interfacing and all sorts of other stuff ironed onto it, loads of glue, and it's just vile. So when Tilly shared her project to make an ironing board cover the other day, I thought, perfect, that's just the sort of thing that I can do as a live sew along, so you guys can join into if you want to, or you can just watch and we can chat. I'm going to stop to answer questions and things as I go. But also, it means I'm getting something really practical made for the studio. While the studio is closed to the public, it's actually a really good opportunity for me to tidy it up and get a bit sorted. And a nice new shiny ironing board cover is just what we need. So, you're supposed to use the heat insulated wadding, and I don't have any of that. But the ironing board cover that is on the ironing board itself, yes, it's grimy, but it's still intact. So I'm going to leave that on there just for the insulated purposes to stop it from touching the metal underneath. But I am going to put a couple of layers of just normal wadding on top as well, just to give it a bit of extra oomph before I then cover it with my fabric. And I'm going for this really lovely rainbow striped cotton fabric, which I've got. So first things first, I've got 2 layers of wadding here on the table. I'm going to pick up my ironing board and flip it upside down, draw around it and get the exact shape on my wadding so that I've got that additional layer to put underneath. So just move you back there and attempt to not injure myself doing this. Put the ironing board down. Oh, pick it up and pop it onto the wadding. So I'm going to go just round with a Sharpie. I think that will be easiest if you haven't got a Sharpie to hand. 1 second. Okay, I'm just going to go round the outside of it with a Sharpie, and then I'll just cut just within the line. It doesn't need to be pretty, this bit. It doesn't need to be exact either. I don't think so anyway. It's just giving me a bit of extra oomph. And it doesn't matter if I get pen on my old ironing board cover. I mean, it's filthy anyway, isn't it? Obviously, when I come to actually do the cover, I need to be a bit more precise. Right, fluff on there. Let's pick that up. And there we go. So that's my ironing board shape on there. Now I can do that with my rotary cutter because I've got mats on my table, but if you haven't, make sure you use scissors. So I'm going to cut just inside that line really roughly. It doesn't have to be neat at all. So that's just going to give me a little bit of extra protection and nice sponginess. And if I'm using steam, I find it's really good to have a really nice spongy ironing board cover because the steam seems to work better. Let me just make sure that's all unattached. I could probably do with new blades in my rotary cutters. They're not all that good. There we go. Okay, so that's my 2 layers of just normal wadding that I'm going to put on top of the existing ironing board cover just for a bit of protection when I assemble the whole thing. So I'm just going to fold that up and put that to one side. And then I will find a home for that later. Right, so the next thing, I'm going to have a look at the instructions. The next thing that Tilly says to do is to take your fabric and place your ironing board on top of it. So I'm going to take the cover off for this bit so that I can see the actual metal. And then you're going to place it on top of your fabric. And I just want to check which way round my fabric's going to go. Yeah. I would have liked the stripes to have gone from the top to the bottom, but unfortunately the fabric's not quite wide enough to do that. So I'm going to have to make a decision. So I'm actually going to draw on the right side of my fabric. On the picture she draws on the wrong side of her fabric, but I want to get a little bit of pattern placement going on. Stand up. I want to get some pattern placement going, and I want to make sure I get all of the colours on my cover. So spread that out. Oh. Right, so if I do that, I will get a bit of pink, a bit of green, a bit of everything. Lovely, happy with that. So she said, remove your current ironing board cover, lay your ironing board onto your fabric or pattern paper if you want to make another one for later. So that's a good idea if you want to make a pattern, and draw around it 2 inches away from the edge. Now, because I've got my additional cover and my additional wadding, I'm actually going to do 2.5 inches. Actually, I might do 3. The reason I say that is that this is quite a deep ironing board. It's got quite a deep frame, and I don't want to find that when I put it on I can't draw the cord up all underneath the ironing board cover. Sometimes you buy them, don't you, and they just kind of hang on for dear life. So I'm actually going to do 3 inches. Just going to be brave. If I find it's too big, it should just draw in with the draw cord. So, and I'm going to do that kind of by eye as well. I'm going to use a ruler initially to make a little mark. I don't know, maybe I'll do 2.5. I'm going to do 2.5 inches. I'm going to use my ruler just to make some little marks all the way around, and then I'm going to draw the line in by eye. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just going to join the dots. Let me just see what's what. Oh, there's people from all over the place. Arndale in Scotland. Laurie's here from New Zealand. Hello, Jane. Hi there from over the river from you, from Michelle. Are you over in Kent, Michelle, I'm assuming? Over Dartford way. Claire from London. Will this work for the boards you use with the steam iron, i.e. mesh type? I'm not sure what type you mean, Rachel. Oh, I have seen yours is the same, so ignore that. Yes, absolutely. This is this ironing board's one of the big, massive ones designed for a steam generator iron. Even so, the steam generator iron still doesn't sit on it properly, and it still fires itself off in the middle of classes. But that's by the by. Yes, it's massive, and I've really struggled to buy covers for it, although I know what the measurements are, and I've obviously gone onto various websites and things and said put the measurements in. I still find that they come and they don't quite fit, or they ping off the edges, which is really frustrating. So I thought this is perfect. I'll make my own. I actually made my own for the other ironing board that we have here, and lots of people often comment on it because it's made with fabric that my mother-in-law bought me in Australia from Spotlight, with all like Vogue dress patterns all over it, and it's really, really fun. And I made that. I kind of followed this kind of instruction, but didn't. I kind of made it up as I went along, and I put a channel around the edge of mine and put threaded some elastic in, and that seems to work. But there's lots of different ways, obviously, you can do it, and I've made them before for the little mini IKEA ironing boards as well. They're always nice to recover. I'll maybe do a little tutorial on how I do those because they're slightly different. Right, nearly there. So is anyone actually making along with me today, or are you sewing something different and making something different? Let me know what you're up to, and we can see how you go. Interesting, I've seen lots more people in this last week really start to ramp up online sew-alongs and classes. It's obviously really becoming a thing, which is great. I know Emily, who's watching, has been doing some sew-alongs on her Facebook page. I've seen Lisa Comfort's been doing them. Crafty Sew and Sew are teaching classes. They've started their classes today, which is awesome. So we've really pulled together as a sewy community to still be able to keep sewing at the moment, which is great. Really great. Right, I've drawn all the way round at 2.5 inches, and I'm going to cut it out. Now, bear with me 1 second. I'm going to go and switch the iron on next door because I do need to give this a quick press. Because it's got a big crease right the way through the middle. So I'm going to cut this out now. I'm going to use scissors for this bit. My rotary cutter needs a new blade. And besides, I love these scissors. These are hemline scissors. They're rose gold, which obviously is lovely, but they're really heavy and they cut beautifully and they're not expensive. A lot of fabric scissors, if you get really big heavy ones, are expensive. But I think these are about £12. They're in my Amazon shop, so go and check that out if you want them. They're in the section that's called Nice Things to Have rather than the Essentials to Have section. Because they are nice to have. I've got 2 pairs of these and I love them. This is going to look so pretty when it's done. This fabric's amazing. I bought it from my wholesalers. I need to buy some more. We've been using it for our beginners sewing courses. But it looks like glitter. It's not. It's just printed. But the speckles are kind of white that look like glitter, and it's really clever. There we go. So you can see I've got all the colours on there. Pleased with that. That's my shape. So I'm going to leave that just for a second. Let that iron heat up, and I'll just check your comments. Northfleet next to Gravesend. Yes, you are literally just across the river from me then, Michelle. Ali's making along with me. Yay! Rachel, I've been making masks for one of our staff who is shielding. Oh, would love a tutorial on the mini ironing board cover. I've got 2 of those. Susan, to be fair, it's much the same as this. I think I just did it slightly differently. I think I put elastic in it rather than cord. Jane, I literally bought a new cover about 8 weeks ago, so I'm watching for future reference. Oh, typical. Making a dress. Lovely. Ali, Susan, I'm covering a mini ironing board. Tilly does a mini one on her blog. Perfect. Oh, Mum. Hey, Mum. I'm watching, as I don't need a new ironing cover, but definitely need more wadding. Oh, well, that's easy. We can sort you out with that. No problem. Emily just shared on my Facebook. Hope some more will pop along and watch. Thank you, Emily. Susan says, great. Ali, I'll take a look. I have a few projects on the go, says Michelle. Wallets, purses, kids, oven gloves. Super. Well, good. You're all sewing, which is fab. I'm going to be 1 second. You can see I've got a big crease running down the middle here. I just need to quickly go and blast that out because otherwise it will really bug me. So I'll keep talking to you from the other room. And then you'll know I'm still here. There you go. It hasn't really made much of a difference, if I'm honest, but there we go. Right, what do the instructions say? Cut your fabric. If you're adding new wadding, cut it to the exact size. Done that. Open out your bias binding and press one of the short ends under by about 1 centimetre, wrong sides together. Right, now I've got 2 lots of binding. I'm going to see which one I need. I've got loads here, but I have got this little bit and I don't know if it's going to be enough. So I'm just going to see if this is going to be enough. No. That was a quick answer. Let's go for this one then. So open it out and press it under. I'm not going to worry about doing that on the iron. I'm just going to press it by hand. And what I might do, I've got one of these Prim Aqua glue pens. I love these. I use these a lot for glue basting. And I'm going to just stick that down with that so that stays nice and pressed over. Okay, done that. What next, Tilly? With one of your long sides of the binding opened out, pin it to the raw edge of the fabric, right sides together. With the short ends still pressed under, start stitching the binding to the fabric together along the fold nearest to the raw edge. Right, she doesn't actually tell you where to start, but I'm going to put my cord, this is the nose, this is the pointy end, this is my big flat end. I'm going to use my big flat end. And are we attaching it to the right side or are we attaching it to the wrong side? We're attaching it to the right side. So I've got my big flat end here, and we're going to be starting, that's the centre, so I'm come down about an inch from the centre, and I'm going to pop a pin in, but I'm not going to pin the whole thing up. Again, this is quite wide binding, so I'm quite pleased that I decided to do that extra ½ an inch. I'm going to put a couple of pins in. I'm going to just be positioning this binding as I go. I think that's going to be the easiest thing to do. And then you come back to where you started, leave a gap and fold it over. I could cope with that. Right, I'm going to move you so I can chat to you while I sew. Oh, blimey, the plug's going everywhere. Hang on. Let me move you over here. Let me balance you precariously on there. There, you should be all right there. Oh, hello. Right, so we're going to stitch in the ditch all the way round. This is the notorious yellow binding that went missing. If any of you follow BTHQ banter, and I went shopping with Elspeth, oh gosh, a good few months ago now, to buy fabric, and I bought binding in the fabric shop, and when I got home I couldn't find it anywhere, so I had to go out and buy a whole load more, which is this. And then as I got home from the fabric shop, I found all of the binding at the back of the boot. It had obviously fallen out of the bag while I was driving and got buried at the back of my boot. Now when I'm halfway round a project like this, I always wonder to myself, have I got it right? Because if I haven't, there's going to be an awful lot of unpicking. Doing the straight side now, which is a nice easy bit. Got round the top curve. It's a lovely tutorial. If you haven't checked it out already, I have linked it in the description. Really nice and clear with lots of photos. I've been thinking about releasing some of my patterns as actual patterns without courses. Mainly for like project bags and things, so if any of you are knitters or crocheters and you fancy that, let me know. Because at the moment they're just written instructions that go along with videos, but I could take some photographs and jazz them up a bit because I have the time. is the nose. This is harder because I'm having to move the binding and line it up as I go. If you're a newbie sewer, I would suggest you do pin this, because it is fiddly. You also want to check you've got enough bobbin, because this is the sort of project, if your bobbin runs out, you're going to be really cross. It's never ending. Just when you think you're nearly there, got another metre to go. The end is in sight. To the corner. Right, so I'm a few inches away from getting back to where I started. I want to be able to leave a little gap, so I'm going to cut my binding, grab my glue pen and just glue baste that end closed as well. Love this thing. This is also linked in my Amazon shop. Pop it over. There we go. So there's now about a centimetre between where my binding starts and finishes. Guess that'd be enough. So a little back tack. And that's done. There you go. Look, I'll show you. So it's not a very big gap, but I don't think that matters. These are both glue basted, the ends, but you don't have to do that. You can just press it, finger press it. But that's done. So that's all the way around now. And then I think it's a press job. Let's have a look. What do the instructions say? I'm just going to take you with me. Take you with me. Otherwise it's boring, isn't it? Can't see what I'm up to. Fold it under pin, press with your fingers, stitch over the folded edge. Done that. Press the binding away from the fabric, then press it towards the wrong side of the fabric, rolling the seam under slightly. Pin the binding to the fabric, then edge stitch approximately 1/8 from the folded edge. Okay, I'm going to have to take you to the ironing board with me for that. Let me see what you are all saying before we go there. Susan says, I'm in the making some of your mini scissor cases for gifts. Oh, lovely. They're a great little project, especially for Christmas. You can stock them up. Michelle says, question for you, does it have to be wadding or can you use batting? Wadding and batting are the same thing, my lovely. Wadding, oh, hang on, where's my tea gone? Wadding is what we call it. Batting is what they call it in America. But it's the same stuff. Obviously different thicknesses, different weights. You can get made with different materials. I like to use the cotton wadding or the cotton bamboo wadding. But if you have it, you've got that horrible scratchy polyester white bouncy stuff that we used to use years ago for quilting. That still exists. I probably wouldn't use that for this. It might melt. I don't know. Not sure. It's funny stuff. But you're supposed to use the heat insulated Insul Bright wadding. What I will do, if I can, when this live stream's finished, it should save onto my YouTube channel in the videos. What I will try and do is jump into the description and add, in fact, have I not already done that? I have. I'm so clever. Go into the description and I have already linked the insulated wadding, bias binding and cord. They are affiliate links. Please be aware of that, so it won't cost you any more to purchase from them. But we will get a little commission, or I will get a little commission. Those links are actually all with Minerva, and Minerva are currently still shipping through the COVID-19 time. So you should get those, which is fine. Mum says your crease will obviously go once you get ironing. Yeah, it will, Mum. I'm not worried about it. Louise, good morning. Ali said would love the pattern for the project bags. Ali, take a look. Take a look on my Facebook on Craft Classes at Beautiful Things, or on the website. There's an online class that I've put on not next Friday because that's Good Friday, the following Friday, the 17th, I think it is, for the quilted project bags. I'm going to do it as an online Zoom class, so if you want to join that, then obviously feel free, and you will of course get a copy of the pattern. But that's the pattern that I'm thinking of releasing as a standalone pattern. So have a look at that. And likewise, Susan, you've said the same, so brilliant. Have a little look at that, see what you think. Okay, shall we go and iron? My tea's getting cold. Right, I'm going to take you next door to the ironing board. Dun, 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 dun. I'm sure there's fancy ways you can do these live streams with like proper cameras and stuff. I haven't even turned the light on in here, look. Let's put this one on. No, it's not even turned on. Oh, it's horrible here when no one's here. Right, so we're supposed to press this away from the fabric. So by that I assume she means out towards the edge. Yes, that seems to be working. It's really only going to be the curves that's going to be an issue on. This is my little small ironing board. I had to plug it in because I realised if I was going to be covering the big one, I'd still need to use the iron to do this sew along. So I put the little one up, but I've not actually put it up high enough. So you can see this amazing fabric now. Look, if I turn you down, how cool is that fabric? Look at that. It was from Spotlight years ago. Like years ago, I had, I think, 5 meters of it. My mother-in-law bought, and the print is so big that I just didn't know what to do with it. It wouldn't have worked as a dress. So I actually sold the rest of this fabric fairly recently. I had a de-stash. I don't know if one of you who's watching was lucky enough to pick it up, but it I sold it. So I'd love to see what you made with it, whoever bought it. Right, so that now needs to be pressed to the wrong side. So my binding's really wide. So I am going to have a stitch line, I think, around the edge of my ironing board cover. I'm going to have a stitch line that you're going to see because I am using stupidly wide binding, but I don't care. Not very good at things like this. Supposed to be pinning it, aren't we? Let me get some pins. Is that my t-shirt? And I did. Right, so I'm going to pin this as I go, and then I know that I've got it where I need it to be. So it's going to take me a little while, I think, this bit. This binding is stupidly wide. I'm going to get massive puckers. No, I'm going to fold it under. It doesn't tell you what size binding you need for this, but I'm going to turn it under. Yeah, I'm happier with that. Happier with that. Right, I'm actually going to use clips as well. Clip it up. That's better. I think this is like 2-inch wide binding or something stupid. That's better. Much happier with that. Upstairs has now decided it wants to do some hoovering. So that's the noise you can hear. No, it's not. That is the guy who owns the place with his leaf blower outside. Right. I think I can do this without actually ironing. Yeah, I can. I'm going to take you back. Next door. You don't actually need to iron this over. You can just fold it over by hand. Oh, there we go. Nicer for you to see rather than just watching my back. There we go. So I have got a little bit of a pucker going on around this corner, but I think that's because of the width of my binding. And again, it doesn't matter. This is going to be underneath your ironing board. No one's going to see it, so it doesn't have to look perfect. I'm really tempted to just sit down on the sewing machine and sew this without clipping it all, but I think I'll regret it because I know what will happen. I'll get right back to where I started and I'll end up with a pucker, and that will make me cross. So you can see how wide my binding is, look. It's really crazy, so I'm just folding it under again, tucking it under itself. Susan says, how easy is Zoom to access? Susan, it's really easy. Basically, if you want to do an online class with me, I use Zoom, so I've got a paid for Zoom account, which means I can have up to 100 people at any one time. I don't, and I wouldn't, not for classes, that would be crazy. But I will basically send you a link, and all you need to do when you are going to be taking the class is you want to make sure that you're set up with a device that you can happily watch. So I would suggest a laptop or an iPad rather than a phone, because you can just put that to one side like I've got you in my computer here, and I can just watch it while I sew. And you just want to make sure that you've installed the app Zoom Cloud Meetings and ahead of the class, which is really easy to do, and I can talk you through it if you need help. And then on the day, say the class was Saturday at 10 o'clock, you just come onto your computer or your iPad or on Saturday at 10 o'clock and you click the link that we sent you, and you'll get a lovely little bing bong, and you'll pop up on the screen along with all your fellow pupils and me. And I actually have 2 cameras running. So I have me now, like you can see me talking to you, and I also have a close-up camera, which I can use. It's actually my phone, so I'll hand hold my phone, and if need be I can hover it over certain sections. I can get up close to the sewing machine so you can see what I'm doing, and we basically just sew along together, and I make sure that everybody has completed each section before we move on. So for some people they're going to be sitting around and waiting a bit if they're super speedy sewers, but you know, so far everyone's been really patient, so it's been really good. We've really enjoyed them. We had 2 lovely classes yesterday. I did knicker making in the morning, which was fun, and in the afternoon we made our vinyl storage sewing wallets. So yeah, we've had a lovely couple of classes and they've all been really successful. We've got a few more planned. At the moment I can only really do them on Fridays and Saturdays because I don't have the kids here with me. Fridays Mr. Mac's working from home, and Saturdays he's normally at home with them anyway, so hence I'm here with you today. So right, it is harder when you get to the pointy bit. This is really quite fiddly because I've used really thick binding, but even so, getting an absolutely perfect curve, I think you're going to struggle, but it doesn't matter, and I have to keep telling myself that because it's just a cord channel. And it's going to be under my ironing board cover, and it serves a purpose, that is all. I don't like a pucker. There we go. It's clipped up round the point there. One side done. I think if you took this really slowly and carefully, you're looking at probably an hour and a half, 2 hours to get this made. I mean, I can see I've already been live for 42 minutes and you're still with me. But I am rushing this, so do take your time. You don't have to be sewing along actually with me. I'm going to put my stitch length to 2.5 when I sew this, which is kind of my average stitch length. But what I might do as I go round that nose is I might reduce it down to like 1.5, and I think that will help me not get quite so many puckers, but I don't know. I'll experiment for you. Now, what I should do while you're all there online is get you to say hello to BTHQ Banter. So the lovely Sian from Kittenish Behaviour does this when she does her sew-alongs. She does her hangouts, she calls them. She sits and sews, and they're like 3.5, 4 hours long, and you can chat to her while she sews. She gets everyone to say hello to her vlog, and I think I'm going to do the same. So when I get to the end here, I'll pick my camera up and you can all say hello. Now, Sian's ladies say hello peeps. My ladies, if you watch BTHQ Banter, say hello everyone. Because I say to them, say hello everyone, and they all say hello everyone back. Most of them are well trained. Not all of them. So that's what I need you to do when I pick up the camera in a minute. I'm just going to finish this bottom corner. And obviously you can't actually say it, so you have to type it in the comments. Oof. Fiddly fiddly. We are nearly there. Oh, there we go. There we go. Right, let's get the camera. So, okay, this is BTHQ Banter. So here we are. There's me live on the Tinterwebs. I'm just making my ironing board cover, and I'm going to get everyone in the comments to say hello, everyone. It's going to take them a little while for it to come through. Susan says, I'm a childminder not working at present due to current situation, so we'd love to take a class with you. Brilliant, that would be great, Susan. Winifred says, that's brilliant, Claire, thank you, so inspiring. Going to start my machine mat this afternoon. Brilliant, can't wait to see it, Fred. Ah, here we go, starting to come through. Michelle's the first one. Hello, everyone. Rachel, hello, everyone. Emily, Jane, smiley faces. Hello, everyone. Any more? There's Susan. Love it. Isn't the internet a powerful thing? There's Fred. Love it. Ali. Hello, everyone. Shivster. Brilliant. Love it. Oh, thank you, guys. That's really fun. Right, so let's drink the rest of this cold tea, and then I'm going to stitch this binding down. Right. Oh, Mum, come back. There's limescale in the kettle. No, that's not limescale. Ew. Oh, I broke the tea bag. Does anyone read the tea leaves? What can I see? No. It's just tea leaves. That's disappointing. Right, let's move you to the sewing machine and let's stitch this binding down. I'm going to have my empty pot to put my clips in as I go. Ooh. Trying to get my head taken off by an ironing board. Right. So, now I would prefer to sew this from the right side so I know I'm going to get a neat stitch line, but at the same point I know I need to stitch close to the edge of this binding. So what I'm going to do, I've put my presser foot down on the binding and I'm going to move my needle over as far as I can to the left side, and that means I can sew really nice and close to the folded edge of the binding, and that's going to leave me a big enough channel to put my cord through, and I'm doing this by eye, so it won't be equal from the right side, but again that doesn't matter because it's all going to get pulled underneath the ironing board cover. And I'm not getting puckers, that's good. Saying about being a childminder, Michelle, I was when the whole school closure thing was happening, my friend and old childminder was getting obviously upset because she wasn't going to be able to work anymore, but now she's getting this 80% tax money, or whatever you want to call it. It's not quite so bad. And I was chatting to one of my ladies yesterday who was taking a class with me, and she's been furloughed. So that means obviously she's just going to be earning 80% of her regular income. And at first I was like, oh gosh, how do you survive on less money? But actually, I'm not spending anything at the moment. My income's massively reduced. I too will be getting that 80% self-employed money at some point. Probably not till June, I think they're saying. But I mean, I'm not in any massive hurry for it. But I'm not spending anywhere near as much money, and I think this has actually caused a lot of us to realise what we're overspending on and buying lots of. And I'm just buying the food that I need to eat and paying my bills, and that's it. And I'm still functioning. And as much as this is a horrible situation that we're all in, I do think it's made us think about things and slow down a bit. And I'm actually enjoying that slower pace of life, as frightening as it all is right now. And I do hope that when all this is over, that continues. But we shall see. Right, I'm doing that pointy bit now, so I'm going to reduce my stitch length down to 1.5. I don't know if that's actually going to make a difference, but we shall see. It might help me not get quite so many puckers. This is a trick I learned from Sham when I was doing bags with her. Yeah, it's a couple of puckers. It's not great. It did get me round the corner though. Put it back to what it was. Oh, straight and narrow now. I love quilting clips. Ooh. BBC News. Oh. New Labour leader to be announced. Okay. We'll worry about that one later. I don't do politics. Right. Almost there. Oh, maybe we're not. This is one of those projects, like hemming a circle skirt, that you think you're there and you're not. Check of the bobbin. Just had a sudden thought that was going to run out. there we go, final bend. And we are back. Perfect. All sewing completed. Let me just chop off that ridiculous tail end. Pop you back up here. Oh, let's have a look at the messages. Oh, let's see. Christine, Mum, I cannot wait to come back as studio support technician. We can't wait to have you, Mum. I've got a big list of things for you to do, and they're all really silly things like sharpen the pencils and empty the receipts in the till drawer, but they desperately need doing, but I'm not doing them because then they're things that you can do when you can come back. We had hoped Mum would be able to come back today because she's out of her 14-day incubation period now, of coming back from Australia, so technically she's allowed to go out and about again, and so she could come to work, but because I'm using this place as an extension of my family home at the moment, she's not supposed to come to my family home, so she shouldn't come here either. So we had to make a tough decision today that we weren't going to do that. We had planned on her coming in today, but we're not going to do that. But she's still going to come over, but she's got lots of bits to bring over. She's been working at home, as she should be, and I've got some more bits to give her so she can do some more work at home. So we'll do a 2-metre exchange at the front door later on today. So I'll see if she can wave at you through the window on BTHQ banter. Jane says, totally agree. I'm doing out my cupboards and now I'm going to use up everything I have, including samples we all get, and throw in a box. Absolutely. I've just been working through my stash and I've got lots of it. I haven't bought anything new. Totally agree with everything you've said about the self-employed bit. Been struggling a bit with not working as I'm constantly on the go with my childminding children. But sewing's been a blessing. Definitely, it gives you something to do, doesn't it? Louise says, because I can't go out and buy patterns, etc., I started buying PDF patterns that I've never done before. The NCW, so all new to me. Oh, you'll love the Necessary Clutch Wallet, Louise. Don't follow their instructions though. Go and watch Sean's video tutorial. It's great. Much better and much easier. And you get an extra zip pocket as well. That's good. Right, okay, we need to get some cord into this. I'm a bit concerned that my channel's not wide enough for the cord that I've got, but we shall see. This is just cotton cord. It's probably a bit posh to be using, to be fair, for this, but it's all I've got. I could use my, I can't think what it's called, my little like tweezery thing to poke it through, but I worry that I'm going to lose the end of it halfway round, so I think I am going to find a big safety pin and use that instead. And I think I've got one in here. Oh, what's it called? This thing. Squeezy jobby. Squeezy jobby. No, I haven't got a safety pin in there. Oh, I might just have to be brave. I do worry it will let go of it halfway through. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. Squeeze it right there. Is that hanging on tight? Yeah. Yeah, she says. Right. I'm going to leave it attached to the ball. I'm going to go in. Going in. Come on. Getting that first bit in is hard. Getting it past the where I folded the binding over. In you go. In you go. Come on. There we go. and we're off. I love this little gadget. I can't think what they're called. Someone will tell me in a minute. A bodkin. Thank you, Susan. I do know that. I bought my bodkin in Spotlight at Christmas when I was in Australia. I'd never seen them before. So it just goes to show you, doesn't it, that you can be an experienced sewer and yet still you can learn new things. I'm getting stuck on something here. I always used to use just a big safety pin. Oh gosh, this is tough on the fingers. I've only done a tiny bit. It's very slippy slidey. I think it would have been better with slightly thinner cord, but it's really hard to get hold of it. Ali's just finished the sewing. Well done, Ali. Fabulous. Oh. I don't know what leaves he's actually trying to suck up out there, because there isn't any. People busying themselves, aren't they? Doing gardening that doesn't need doing. I'm desperate to get my grass cut out the front of my house, and the little chap, one of the boys over the road does it for me normally, and I messaged him the other day to see if he wanted to come and do it, because he can still do that technically. We're not going to have to come into contact with each other, but he hasn't come back to me, so I'm hoping he's still operating his little business and he can come and cut my grass for me and cut my trees back and stuff. And I suspect if this carries on, which I think it will do, I don't think we're coming out of lockdown anytime soon, I will end up cleaning my hot tub and getting that up and running. That normally comes out in May. It's one of those inflatable ones, and it had a bit of a leak, I think, last year. And it's been out in the garden. I never bothered putting it away, so it needs cleaning. So I may have to ask my mum nicely if I can borrow her jet washer, and when I'm next dropping her shopping off, I can pick it up, but she might not let me. Because she's like that, aren't you, Mum? Cherish your jet washer. Naomi says 3 AM in California. Good morning, Claire. What are you doing up, Naomi? Oh, I should be packing my bags to go to the States right now. Sad times. I'll be back. I'm going to have to use my teeth. Oh, that's better. Just to hang on to the bodkin while I pull the rest back, because I'm getting a sore finger. Oop. Probably not a good idea, is it? Yeah, a thinner piping cord would have probably been better for this, but I didn't have any, so cord it is. Right, I'm halfway round. Michelle says, I have a hot tub too. It has its own spa room. Awesome. I remember when I first got mine, I think I bought it about 3 years ago now. And it was a huge treat, and I bought it with my own money that I'd earned I'd worked really hard to earn, and I was so chuffed with it. I was like, it's like a status symbol. I bought the family a hot tub. and they really loved it and really enjoyed it for that particular year. And I was a member of a group on Facebook called the Lazy Spa Owners or something, and the amount of people that have like dedicated gazebos in their garden with like bars and cover up roofs, and some people like have them in their garage and they've turned their garage into like spa rooms, and it amazed me considering mine just sits in the garden. But yeah, it's a real thing. This is hurting. It's got stuck and I can't hold on to it. I'm wondering, ooh, pliers. Just need to be able to hold on to the bodkin while I then pull it back. That's better. This is the nose bit, the pointy bit, so it's hard getting round that corner. This is working now. Aha! Bodkin hack. Pliers are your friends. We bought a lazy spa with our wedding money. It's nice, isn't it? It was, not a status symbol, that's the wrong thing to say, but I was proud that I bought it with my own money for the family. We had numerous girls' nights in that year. We haven't had quite so many over the last few years. Susan says, can you send me a link to your course on Zoom? I can, Susan. It's on the website. If you go to beautifulthingshq.com and click on classes, online classes, and then sewing, you'll find it there. But if I remember, I'll pop it in, or if someone would be kind enough to dump it into the comments for me, copy and paste it, that would be lovely. Ali's using a safety pin. Blimey, this is really hard work. I'm not sure if it's because of the thickness of the cord that I'm using or just if it's hard work in general. I can see now why I used elastic when I did my last one. Nearly there. Pliers are definitely a saving grace to my fingers, that's for sure. Three-quarters of the way round. Naomi says, husband's driving up to Monterey, 3 hours away for work. He made too much noise when he got up. Oh gosh, that's a long way to go. What did he do? Is he going to have to stay up there, or? I know you're on different, all your states are doing different things, aren't they? Compared to us, we've just got one rule for the whole country, but then we are considerably smaller than you. Shifts are nearly caught up, just about to start putting my cord in. Excellent. Grab yourself some pliers. You might need them. It's a good little hack, actually. Oh, 70 minutes. Time flies when you're sewing. Nearly there. I've really had to get used to technology. I mean, I've always been fairly tech savvy, but I've really had to get used to streaming software and Zoom and cameras and all sorts over the last few weeks. It's certainly been a very steep learning curve when you've got to try and do your regular work as well. It's been lots of small businesses adapting very quickly to the changes. And like I say, I don't think these changes are going anywhere for a while. I know we thought originally it would just be for a few weeks, but I honestly don't think it will be. So I think online classes and lives and things are the way to go for the next few months. And I know that's sad, but at least we have technology, because had this been a few years back, we wouldn't have. Oh, so nearly there. Nana, is that what you wanted, Susan? Did you copy and paste it into the comments, Nana? beautifulthingshq.com. Online classes, sewing, and then the Zoom project bag. Oh, I've got a hole. I've made a hole with my pliers. It's alright. You won't see it. Oh, come on, come on. Oh my goodness me, it's stuck right in the last bit. Little bit by little bit. I don't know how much cord I'm going to need. I've just left it attached to the ball. I'm going to get it out the other side and then put it on and see how much I need. Two more inches. Yeah, I think a thin piping cord, like a 2mm piping cord or something like that, would definitely be a better option than the big thick cord I'm using. I think this is like 4mm or 6mm. Now I've got to find my way in here, get my bodkin out. There it is. Hello, my friend. Now, I've got to be really careful that it doesn't let go of the string, because then I think I'd cry. Come on. Come on. Oh, it's hanging on just by the skin of its teeth. Look, it's just hanging on. Oh. There we go. Right. So that looks like a shower cap at the moment, which is fine. I'm going to pull through some more. Oh dear. Move it all the way down and round. and then I can lay it out on the table and see how much we actually need. I think I want a good like, I don't know, what's that, 12 inches out, and then I'm going to smooth it all down to work out how much I actually need. Right, pass that down. It's harder as well because the binding is starched, so it's quite stiff. I think if you were to maybe pre-wash your binding, you might find it easier, but who has the time or the inclination to do that? Not me, that's for sure. Go. It's all coming together. Oh. What have we got? No. Zoom is great. We've been using it for work catch-ups while we're in lockdown. It's a long story, says Naomi. He'll be gone until Monday, giving me more time to sew. Excellent. Fred says, could you use string? Yeah, I reckon you could, Fred. I don't think you can. I think you can use anything really, as long as it's not going to snap as you pull it through. You could use, I was considering using cotton yarn, but just like doubling it up at one point. I think I say you can use anything you like. I just happen to have this cord in my stash, so I thought I'd use it, but it is quite thick. You could probably use, well no, baker's twine's a bit thin, but again, double it up maybe, or triple it up, and you could use that. Right, so I'm going to leave that there. I've pulled it all through. I'm going to just cut this really nice and leave a nice long end. Let's get it on the ironing board cover. On the ironing board, let's move you, tip you down, and you can see what I'm doing. Right, so step up first of all. So I think I'm going to put my wadding on first, because my wadding's not protective wadding, it's just regular wadding, but it'll just give me a bit of extra sponginess. So I'm going to lay that on there first, then I'm going to put the Manky old ironing board cover back on, because that is at least a bit more protective. So that's going to be fun, trying not to let this one move underneath. Maybe I should have used some gaffer tape or something. Let's get that on there. Smooth that out underneath there. Ooh. They never go back on properly, do they? This has just got like an elastic on it, so it's not very secure. There we go. Right. Now we're going to put my one on. So I'm going to start by attaching the nose area, I think. I'll be so hacked off if this doesn't fit. Let's pop it over there. It is snug, but that's what we want. Right, it's all underneath. I need to push that down. I'm going to have to use my scissors, I think, to push that down. And then I've got to get my cords to go through. There we are. Right, that's all balanced over the edge. Smooth it out. Now then, here is the fun bit. I'm going to get under the table. Let's move you down. Oh, hello. No. Hello. I'm going to pull on my cord. I'm going to have to do a little bit of a yank from underneath, I think. Don't want to pull too hard. Oh, that's my head. There we go. Oh, I'm having to really push it and pull it hard to get it snug. Oh, I like that. Excellent. Right, now a big knot. Oh gosh, that's where I could do with someone else to put their finger on that knot. And I'm going to just do a bow. I'm not going to do a double knot because that would be fatal. I'll never get it undone if I need to tighten it up. There we go. Oh. There we go. I'm really pleased with that. I'll pick you up. Look. Oh, there we go. I'm really pleased with that. That's really nice and snug. Really nice and firm. Happy, happy. Claire. Oh. That was exhausting. Right, let's just see if you've got a couple of other messages and then I will call it a day. Let's have a look. Oh. Christine says, can now breathe again. What, after doing that? Yeah. Alice, I'm done, Claire, all finished. Thank you so much. Oh, brilliant, Ali. Do me a favour. If you find the event on Facebook, pop a photo into the event on Facebook. And if anyone else has done them as well, that would be great to see. Shivster's done one as well, put a picture on Facebook, fabulous. If you're not a member of our free Facebook group, then do join. It's a really nice place just to chat with each other. I've put the link down in the description down below. Just a little precursor though, we have made it a COVID-free zone, which means that whilst you can obviously mention lockdown and things like that and what you're getting up to, we have said please no posts about making masks or scrubs or anything like that, just because there are a lot of our members who are really struggling at the moment and they need a space where they can actually escape and get away from what's going on in the world, and I'm determined to keep BTHQ that space, so trying to keep as upbeat as possible in the group and also with the content that I'm putting out on social media. So yes, if you want to join that group, please do, but just bear that in mind. Looks great. Thanks for the info on Zoom. Looks perfect. This is exciting. Fabric is great. It's lovely fabric, Fred. I really love it. Show us the underneath, please, says Michelle. Oh, I can try. Hang on. If I put it back down again. Oh, there we go. There you go. So you can see I was right. It does just about cover. If I hadn't have added that extra ½ an inch though, I don't think it would have done. So, and you could probably do 3 inches. Ooh, this way. You could probably do 3 inches quite safely. But yeah, pleased with that. Let's try and show you the other end. Oh, there's the end with the ties. So yeah, it goes around more at the corner there. But that's where I had to give it a really good heave. But yes, very pleased with that. That's good, good. Oh, what else? Well done, Claire. Give it a go when I ruin mine, says Rachel. Mum says, this is brilliant. Well done and all live. I know. Go me. Hanny, that's great. I go for it. Clap, clap, clap. Brilliant. Okie dokie, my lovelies. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been lots of fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it. If you do make one of these ironing board covers, then obviously please send me a picture. I'd love to see it, but do remember, if you're posting it on social media, to tag Tilly from Tilly and the Buttons. It is her tutorial that I used, and again, I've linked that in the description. So please make sure that the relevant people get the relevant shout outs for doing all the hard work. Yes, I've made it, but it was her instructions. So I am going to end the live stream, and I will see you all again soon. Thanks for watching.